Okay, good. Great to see everybody. We're excited to have such a great crowd here. Been a huge response to this topic. SID is the only professional association for international development professionals, and we reach across the full diversity of all the different organizations working in international development. And our mission is to achieve better development outcomes by bringing diverse constituencies together so that we can debate critical ideas, policies, and practices that will shape our global future. And we are definitely doing that today. This year's program theme for SID is Common Ground on Foreign Aid, Deepening the Dialogue. We have a lot of wonderful programs planned, and we have a special series, and today is the launch of that special series on the future of foreign aid under the Obama administration. And we're really excited to launch that special series today with this panel on delivery mechanisms for aid that works. We're interested in helping to create and bring forward the history that we all have in development with different delivery mechanisms and make that data and experience available as a lot of decisions are being made by the Obama administration, whether in the QDDR process, the Presidential Study Directive 7 process, or what have you. So we're excited today to be doing that and have such a distinguished panel, excuse me, that will comment on all of those things and bring a lot, and I expect that there will be a very lively Q&A to follow. A lot of people out there in the audience that know a lot about this topic. Let me also mention that we've got a lot of interesting events coming up. I want to especially flag our January 27th annual dinner. And I don't know if you all went to the dinner this week. How many people went to the USGLC dinner this week? So they're really fun, and we have another one in store for you at the end of January. We have Senator Lugar confirmed and Senator Kerry wanting to come, and we hope to firm that up soon and to be able to pay tribute to these two senators for all that they have done in advancing foreign aid reform on the Hill. There are a number of other activities coming up, and you probably all grabbed a couple of leaflets on those. We will be doing the second in the series on the future of foreign aid under the Obama administration on January 13th with an insider's view of foreign aid reform from key Hill staffers. I think the upshot of all of that is that if you are not a member, you certainly feel like you want to become one. Am I right? Feeling in this group that that's what you want to do immediately. So we have membership forms right outside. We would really love it if any of you in the room are not members, and also would direct you to say hi to a couple of staff, ask any questions you may have about SID to them. Joe Foyer, our executive director. Stacy Whittle, our communications officer. And then I think Janine Kamweni and Manoli Strecker are outside in the hall. Anyway, they do a fabulous job. If you're not a member, I hope you will join. I'd now like to introduce Tony Barclay, who really doesn't need much of an introduction because he's an eminence grise in our community. Tony has also been a former past president of SID. He is president of the Center for Global Engagement, which is part of the USGLC. And he has recently set up a new NGO called the Development Practitioners Forum. And he can tell us a little bit about that. But its mission is much like what we are doing today, and that is how do we bring what we know forward and apply it so that we're not all reinventing the wheel. And with that, let me turn it over to Tony. Thank you.
Thanks, Betsy. It's great to be with all of you here today, and we really have an exceptional panel and a great opportunity both to hear from them and then to pose questions. So Each of the panelists will speak for about 15 minutes. I'll act as a kind of gentle timekeeper, and we'll have at least an hour for Q&A with them once you've heard from them. As you came in, I hope many of you at least were able to pick up one handout which looks like this. And we won't be, I'm not going to present what is here so much as just mention it that it offers you kind of a cheat sheet or a frame of reference for some of the topics that I know our panelists are going to talk about. We actually had a couple of conference calls to try to prepare ourselves and make sure that as we bring different perspectives and different experience to the conversation, that we could touch on some common themes that are of interest to everyone who's here today. So in this handout that I held up, there is a page that lists 11, I think it is, and that list kind of stopped just because I ran out of space on this slide. Different instruments and some of the broad trends of the last 30 years in terms of when and how those instruments have been used. And there's a pretty broad range of them. And some of them are being considered and being discussed, perhaps to be either reintroduced or given greater emphasis under the Obama administration's reform proposals. So I think there's a widespread sense that we will see substantial change. There's a widespread view that the system for delivering U.S. foreign assistance, if not broken, is at least has a lot of parts that might be almost worn out. Everyone has opinions on that. And we will ask our panelists to touch on their own experience and to offer some views. And I'll give them, as I introduce them, a couple of things that are just sort of framing questions. The second slide here talks about trade-offs influencing the choice of instrument. Again, use this as kind of a backdrop for the conversation because on that page you have, again, I think it's 11, different priorities that different stakeholders in the U.S. foreign assistance community put different levels of emphasis on. And those would range from emphasis on maximum competition for all comers, lowering all entry barriers, to emphasis on using host country governments and NGO institutions, to different emphasis in terms of how much reporting is involved, how much funding uncertainty there might be, what are the expectations between the U.S. entity, particularly a USAID mission, and an implementing partner. People have different preferences. I will tell you, because I know the panel agrees on this one, that there is no way that any of us have seen to optimize all 11 of these things equally at the same time. You just can't do it. So when you hear a reform proposal, it's sometimes, I think, helpful to say, what is really most important in the mind and the voice of someone advocating that we do more of something and less of something else? It's kind of a good indicator. And it doesn't mean that person is necessarily got it wrong or that they will get to dictate how things get sorted out. But these are very, very serious trade-offs. It's good to have them sort of out in front of us as we think about both where we've been and where we would go. Our panelists bring immense experience across different roles in different organizations. Their bios are in your hands, and I think it would be unfair to all of you to go through and read that to you. But if you take a look at what Diana Esposito has done as a procurement officer and a contracting officer and a policy specialist in USAID, in other federal agencies, and now at ACDI VOCA, you see that kind of breadth of experience and really understanding both the instruments and the kinds of trade-offs that I've just referenced. If you look at Tim Beans, who's known to many people because he works right in this building, but who's got great experience